One of the biggest problems that so many people have when they face the reality of life is they are being asked, like, okay, now what do you want to do with your life? And so many people say, oh, I want to be my own boss. I want to control my own thing. I don't want to work under anybody. And that can be very, very dangerous. Or on the other hand, you just feel like, oh, I don't want to go into business. Business is very risky. Let me just find one job, any job. What if you just do? What if you just use the money? Both can be very, very dangerous if you do not understand what both words really entails. You see, I've been opportune to work in different facets of life. I'm a very, very young person, but I've like taken the time to explore different options. I've worked at a job, I've worked at poor jobs, I've done gatesman work, I've done cyber sales boy job, I've done network marketing, I've done remote jobs, I've done online jobs, I've done corporate jobs, I've done remote jobs. Like I said, I've also done businesses. I think I have like 4 field businesses, and I just keep like moving on because I really understand that life is about exploring and moving on. The 20s is a period of time for you to like explore, try different things, and just keep ensuring that you're able to survive and able to go through the phases of life. So I have the chance of like speaking. I've done businesses of small capital businesses and large capital businesses. We've done forex betting. I can speak and give us like different ideas on how we really think about different concepts, especially in this aspect of life. So people just graduate or they just go through school and then they are thinking about, okay, what do I do with my life right now? Should I get a job? Should I start a business? And they really don't take time to really come down to say, what does these two words entail? Some people say if you start a job, the job can be very, very controlling. You don't have your freedom, you don't have your time. And some people have it wrong. They even say like 9 to 5 is like a rat race. Somebody's controlling you, somebody's paying your bills. Some people say the salary is like a drug. All right. Some people say that those methods of like getting income is very, very bad, and you just keep working for the rest of your life. And after working for the rest of your life, you find that at the end of your life there is nothing that you've even saved. That some people also say like the income is just stagnant while our expenses keep increasing every single day. The prices, we are seeing inflation every single day, and then they think that, oh, job getting a business is just very much better with a business. Like you control your time with the business, you control how much you make with a business, right? You are your own boss. But they can be very, very wrong, because a business on the other hand can be very, very risky. You go through pressures, like crazy pressures. A business also can give you sleepless nights. You understand? A business, you have to pay others, you pay your workers, you pay everybody first before you even have any little change to say you want to pay yourself. So both worlds can be very, very risky, and it's not just to just run and just get any one of them. So what should you do? You just finish school and you're thinking, should you start a business or should you get a job? And I really think like it really depends on your context, right? You know, starting a business can be very, very good, and I think it should be the ultimate goal of everyone. Everyone should really get into like a business, because a business is going to teach you the reality of life. Like in a job, you can make mistakes, you can make errors, right? And then you still get your salary. You may not bring in the sales you expected to bring. Highest thing, you don't get your commission, but you still get your salary. In business, it's not like that. If you don't do the job, you can't eat, you can't pay your workers. They'll rebel against you, and you may lose your peace, right? So business is going to teach you risk management. Business is going to teach you how to manage cash flow. Business is going to teach you sales and marketing, persuasion, communication, leadership. Those things, you see them in business. Some jobs can also like teach you all those things, but before you even rise through to get all those things, you have to really, really learn and rise through the ranks of a corporate job, right? So I think getting a business should be the ultimate goal of every single individual. However, there are stages, and that's why I said your context is very, very important. What context are you utilizing to even say you want to start a business? Are you in the right frame of mind to start a business? Are you in the right financial stage to say you want to start a business? Because a business is going to punish you, like I said. It's going to punish you if you cannot take control of your situation. For example, I had some, like I told you before, I had like 5 field businesses, and one of the things that I really learned is that you keep learning on every field one. And most of the time, when you fail, like for example, if you are doing forex, and then in forex we say the highest money you should lose as a normal forex trader should be like 2%. In betting you have like 5 units, and that simply means that if you're going to invest in a business, you should ensure that you have buffer, because you're going to fail. And so people, if their business requires 3 million or 10 million, they put that 10 million into the business, and then business crash. So they've lost 100% of their money, and now they have to look for a way to survive. You understand? So a business can be very good. It can help you like to navigate through life, but however, you need to get a buffer. Highest thing, if you are trying to invest 10 million into a business, you should ensure that you have at least 100 million naira. Like, you know that this is your money and I want to invest 10 million naira, because your business, of course, like, is going to fail. I don't think anybody comes into business the first time and gets it. That's a lottery. That's like 1 in 1,000 people, because you know that like 10% or 5% of business, only 5% of businesses survive the first 5 years of their business. I've not taken any of my business through 5-year period, and they are registered, right? The liability companies. So the truth of the matter is that you have to really ensure that you really know what you're doing. So a business, you come here, you get the risk, you get flogged. You understand? So you get flogged, you move out, you reinvest again, you learn, you get flogged, you reinvest again, and then you might get it. You know, I was listening to Sir Paul Wanibe, and he was talking about how he, as a very good investor, he had issues in his business with the government landmark, and he also made insight. I think he was doing an interview with him. I think it was Peace Eating, and he was making note of the fact that he invested more than half of his money that he invested in the Lions program that they usually do. He lost more than half of them. You understand? So that's a great investor. That's a very good businessman who lost his business as an investor, as a business person, and is trying to rebuild. And people that he also invested in, he lost like up to half or more than half of the investment that he took in business. Now imagine if he doesn't have buffer. Imagine if he has not built the credit over the years that he can say, okay, I want to expand into this place, find me some more money. You see that he'll be out, he will not be able to survive, he'll not be able to feed his family. So what's my point? If you want to get into business, your context should be, I have enough capital to buffer for failures. That's what I want business, because business rewards you for the risk that you take, and most risk is going to get you flogged out of the market. So you want to risk as little as possible for high reward. However, in a job, so that's why some people will say it's better to get a job, build stability, save some money. When you save large number of money, build network from there, you can now invest in a business while you are still in your job. That's like very, very easy to say. Like some people say, you can always do this business when you're at your job, your place of work. Alright, like, so you're in your job, you're saving money, you're also like networking with other people. I still also find this that it can be very, very difficult for individuals to do, because like we said, if you're in a corporate job, you are selling your time for money. And some people may say you have like from 5 o'clock till 2 o'clock to still attempt on your business, but it's just not easy, except you're just a young person, of course, who's just like in your 20s or early 30s. You can say, okay, I will take up my time from 5 till 2, so we can work this out and see how we run the business or learn on the business. But the truth of the matter is that business is different from whatever you read. You go to you get your MBA, you go to business school, wherever, you need to come and get slapped by business in the field. You understand what I'm saying? You must get slapped by business. I tell people, when they make some estimate, they be like, I will sell about 100,000 worth of goods this year, or this month. I'll sell like 100 goods this month. And you'll be like, cut it down by half, then let's deal with that, or cut it down by a quarter, then let's deal with that you're going to sell 25 pieces, not 100 pieces. You feel like, I can do it. You overestimate your abilities and underestimate the kind of result you can get in a longer period of time. So some people say get a job, and then from that job you keep taking care of the business, but it's just not as easy as that. When you get a job, you just find that you just keep going and going and going for years, and you never find the time. You say you want to learn the job, so it's a very, very difficult thing to do. And the truth of the matter is that somebody who works at a job and somebody who works in business, they most likely think differently. You understand? So a person is trying to rise up through the corporate ladder. Some people call them entrepreneurs. They're trying to rise up through the corporate ladder, trying to place some people so they can get higher pay and things like that. In business, you also want to get higher pay, but you're also thinking about the employees, thinking about those under you. Here, you're thinking about those above you. You understand? So they are very like complicated issues, right? So to do that, to get a job and then to be financing your business, is just not as easy as that. So what do you do? It's a very, very difficult situation. However, that's why so many people can come with different things. That's why I talked about context. You can do partnership with someone and say, okay, you learn this business, I'll be sending you some money, or someone that you trust and say, okay, we'll have you have a company that we've set up. Now I want you to be the business person. You keep going to business, we'll be putting some money here. In that way, you are stable, and this person is also running the business, hoping that this business, from your studies and everything, will be bringing in profit at the end of the the month, right? So, but for you to just leave your job totally and say you want to get into a business, it's not just going to be easy for you. You have so many obstacles to overcome. Even at that, when you are setting up a company with somebody to pay them, it can be also very risky because this person can run away with your money. You can lose your funds. This person can run away and you will not see the person. The person will make profit or change the name of the company to his own. Very, very possible. That's why some people say when you're starting a business, you have to be on ground to watch what is really, really going on. Some other people will say just start a business. You start a business, you crash, there's a problem. To come and restart in a job it can be a very, very difficult like problem. But my best advice is to work a job. You have enough buffer for that kind of business that you want to do, and then start small in that business. You save some money from the job and then start small in this business. Even though you don't quit, you have to little by little study the business that you want to get into. Very, very important. So what you should do is, like I said, have a vision of where you are going to. This is the kind of business I want to do. This is the idea that I have in place, and if possible, get a job in that business environment. Get a job in that business environment. In that way, you're really understanding how the business is going. So you are learning about the business real time in the job that you are. So you want to get a job in fashion, don't go into banking. You want to get a business in fashion, don't go into banking. You want to get a business in finance, of course, get into banking. You understand what I'm saying? So get a job in the business that you want to venture into, save some money, and then invest into the business. That's what I really think that is something that is the safest option that I think you can do. And also, if you want to take the risk, if you want to take the bull by the horn, I think you can also delve right into business, but make sure that you have enough buffer, like you're risking at least or at most 10% of whatever income that you have, depending on the context. We see stories of Dangote failed in business, Femi Otedola failed in business, and then we think, oh, I can also just fail in business. But you don't know the context. These people have real capital support for them, so they can easily fail and then risk some money again. So that's the difference between these. You can fail and then get another money and then try again. But you may be just struggling, your family may just be struggling, so it may not be easy for you to just fail and then come back, carry that money and invest. So ensure that if you have 10,000 naira now, you may either need to save more money and then invest in business, or you need to find a business that you can invest 1,000 naira at least, at most, in. So if you fail, you can have 9,000 naira to retry again until that business becomes cash flow positive. And also, some people have it in mind that they just want to work, they don't want to do any business, which is also very good, very, very good. However, when you are in a job, make sure that you have a goal in mind. This is why I'm working, this is my point, this is my goal of working, so that you don't find yourself just working and you are not seeing anything. Because in the end, the company can fire you. The company can say they're trying to downsize right now. So whatever job that you take, whether a graduate training job or any normal corporate job that you take, ensure that you have a plan, you have a buffer, because that job can also go at any point in time. So just start something on the side. You can start stocks trading, you can start any business on the side, and you can start YouTube channel, you can start anything. You just make sure that you start something. You just don't have one egg in one basket. You understand? So if you want to have multiple eggs in one basket, or you want to have different eggs in different baskets, it's still very, very good. Just ensure that you don't have one egg in one basket.